Right, here we go. Time for Furina's story quest.
Hey, Catherine, it's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a huge Moratat,
I'll
perhaps?
try not to skip through too much of this like I did yesterday.
You know we're worth it. For quality work and speedy results, choose Paimon and the Traveler.
It's always a pleasure to see our two. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issues and is currently unable to perform
Okay,
the
I
role.
think I know where this
But the
quest is
troupe
going.
has also been experiencing some financial
I reckon
difficulties.
Furina's gonna end up
So
being
unfortunately,
the,
they cannot
main
afford to
actor,
pay
or
the
whatever,
replacement
main
actress.
actress.
That does sound like a tricky situation. So basically they're looking for a volunteer?
Because the demo kind of gave it away a bit.
That's
It
right.
showed her performing.
Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them were willing to take the job. There are only a few days left until the performance. If they
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any ideas?
Furina.
Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
Wait, no, I swear in the, Virage, I can't remember, sorry. Like the 2.8 event, where we went into that, like, you know, the Dreamland, the Bottle Land thing. I swear we did some kind of performance there. But oh well.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat? Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon. Paimon approved.
Sorry, I think I just skipped through one of the voice lines.
Hello there, are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two! Are you really willing to act in my musical?
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard they...
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. That's the thing. We're not some high-profile... All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently.
Disband? You're splitting up the troupe?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe.
Wait, it's
One
pronounced
last
troop?
show. And after that,
Oh
we
my
go our
God.
separate ways.
I think I've been saying
So we were
trope.
really hoping to end on a high note.
That's when it's without
Nobody
a U,
wants
isn't
things
it?
to just
Oh.
fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood, and unfortunately, it flared up again recently. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance on schedule.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. Let's see if we... what if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more are you carrying?
About 6 million.
Please, there's no need to go that far.
Okay.
I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor, and I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly... We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... you know who?
Yeah, Furina. However, we don't actually know where she is.
That's how you know we're the best of partners. Anyway, she should have all the free time in the world right
But
now.
she left Fontaine, didn't she?
She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing...
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're... That was a joke, right?
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident that she'd be really good at it.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner.
Yeah, but she's
She's still an idol to
Fontainian,
many
isn't
people in
she?
Fontaine, including myself. I just
Oh,
think Lady
I see.
Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur
thought-
troupe like ours.
Yeah, I thought they were saying like, oh, they're not part of Fontaine anymore because they're not the Archon. I was going to say.
Well, yes, but... Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in our show. I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested.
No point in stressing about that. Besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just...
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays?
That's what I'm
She
saying.
used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the ready in case my assistance is needed. It is my duty to support Commissioner...
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in a jiffy.
I think Catherine would ever go out of the little adventurers guild thing.
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here?
Wait, really?
Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just, a bit of a step down from the Palais Mermonia.
But I thought she actually left Fontaine.
You know, it's common courtesy
Okay,
to make
never
sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags.
Doesn't sound very
I
happy, does
used to
she?
have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking, not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity! It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre faucilor or blubber profiteroles in no time.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be...
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the Traveler said! Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just...
Oh? Well, if that's the case,
So I
then...
skipped one again, didn't I?
Fine. I'll spare you the lecture about... So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so... specific? Ah, I see. I knew you couldn't have come after all. I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, but given the present circumstances...
How come? It sounds like this...
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage.
To be fair, she's been
Although
active
I am
for
no
500
longer
years
required
straight.
to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me.
Yeah, how was the people who go
Centuries
undercover?
of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again.
I only just realised she's
But
like the
at
short
least I
head.
can say that I no
one now.
longer desire to play any new
That's
roles.
interesting.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part.
Whether it's a one-off or not, if I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point. Okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me. Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help.
Yeah, she's probably assuming that everyone hates her now. Hmm.
True, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Ooh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it.
Well, is there anything else we can do?
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem...
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now.
Toodaloo to you, too. I'm...
I feel like this
Maybe
is
the thought
probably
of
going to be a
performing
bit
brings up
like
too many
Nahida's
painful memories
first
now.
story quest, where it's like she tries to get closer to the people again, kind of thing.
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now?
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the music.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then.
Oh. Yeah, that'd be a bit awkward.
Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Oh, I thought it'd be a bit different.
Jeez,
but,
is Lady
yeah.
Furina really so harsh with people?
No, I thought
Only
it'd be
joking.
like...
Calm down. So,
She just
guess
feels
we
sad,
can
I
consider
think,
this
not
case
angry.
closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, so, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So, the last thing I want is to be left out. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried
Hold
about the
on.
show. I should have asked for your permission first.
I just realised, in the Archon quest that we did yesterday, I swear, like, of course, they weren't real humans. So how on earth did they have illnesses back then? Like, how do, like, people who were oceanids or whatever have illnesses? It makes sense now that they're human, but it's weird that she had it her entire life. Oh well.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Oh?
Hey, how did you...
What the hell is that animation?
I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list. All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me.
So I just realised my stream title literally just says new quests, doesn't it? I'll change it to doing Furina's quest. So yeah, I just realised people might go in the stream thinking it's just the Archon quest or something. They might get spoilers, you know. Right.
Hello, one and all.
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Furina star in our show?
There's no need to think like that, and no need to keep addressing me as lady. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it have to disband? If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim
back
in the
then.
serial disappearances
Wow.
case.
What?
That feels ages ago now. Oh, didn't have it on
That's
there,
actually
so-
how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still...
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed...
And then disaster.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can. But despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things...
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings, who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage...
Yes, exactly.
Well, good thing I followed the Traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing. I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member. But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though.
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe it. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but what about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But take, par exemple...
Still a fan of your... You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely different situation.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge... Alright, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello, all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Furina will be supporting our production of The Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on our behalf.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here.
So, you were saying The Little Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
Wait, so they don't know how it
Wait,
ends?
but if it's not finished, then.
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize the protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form,
Okay,
despite
this
the
is
protests of her
kind of
family.
the
She
awkward
longed to
question,
live
isn't it?
just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship and even love. Everything seemed perfect.
Wait, is
But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
it's kind of
So
a bit
far,
like Furina.
so good. A classic tale.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our main actors. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. But the deadline's passed, and we still haven't heard from him.
They're really worried about
The
ill
other is
actress
Villemont,
if they've
who plays the main
not
antagonist.
even
He
got
took
these
the director's death
plans.
pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
What opportunity? What do you mean?
Maybe you're unaware, but
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us...
Oh, stop. You're making me all flustered. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite.
Yeah, maybe he could use.
Poisson?
Still feels bad about it.
Nothing.
Doesn't she?
I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith. So, allons-y. To Poisson!
Allons-y. I've heard.
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
Alright. Forget that for now. Just come on out.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just have the script
Someone
done
told me they'd just
by
seen
the
you in
time,
Poisson.
you know.
I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Furina, too.
Yeah, as I was saying, yeah, you can't just have a script ready for the actual time the show comes out. You have to have people who actually know the lines and everything, of course. So, of course, they'll just forget, like, they can't simply just remember all the lines, like, last minute, you know?
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Palo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time, which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe.
Wait, do they not
To
realize?
avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress
okay.
playing the role of Furina.
Well, I
It's
mean,
not a
she was
perfect
correct.
solution, but hopefully it means you won't have.
That's so thoughtful of you.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before
Oh
me.
wait, sorry, did she say
Anyway, that was all.
that's a fake Furina?
Look after
Oh,
her now.
okay. I thought she's... Oh wait, no. Oh, whatever. If she said
Off we
that
go,
she's
then.
playing as the
Let's
Hydro
take a look up
Archon,
there.
then yeah,
I
she'd have been
don't
correct.
have any friends that I can be frank and honest with. So maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have. I'm so grateful that Miss Nafia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah, I'd be lying. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Which, of course, I completely understand and accept. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
What do you mean by that? You expected me to just keep running and hiding from my responsibility forever?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there. I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason as I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those they thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine... And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. Back when Ardakina attacked Furina and she was saying like, please don't kill me and stuff. I think Furina was more scared of the fact that she'd have not solved the, not helped with the prophecy and everything. I don't think she was actually worried about herself actually dying. I think she's more scared of, you know, failure, if that makes sense.
Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, but on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that
A reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dig. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Furina, you see. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. At least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and...
Oh my god, it's really bright.
Didn't you
right
say
now.
you needed to watch what you
Sorry,
eat?
1 second.
You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food. Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Oh no, looks... We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he... outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar
Wow.
instead.
sorry.
Oh my god, Paimon, man.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines, too. Like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Yeah, this whole
Wait,
script literally
that sounds
sounds like
kinda
Furina.
familiar.
I swear.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, it was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great... She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was just to taunt me though. One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant.
Furina? The Furina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people begin to panic. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it, and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity. As well, her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to...
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would...
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love. One that extended to all of humanity.
There's actually something else that... You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we... What about if... the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, Her lover makes sure her secret never gets out.
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And perhaps a little irresponsible to...
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but we looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all
The director was the kindest soul in the world. Yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment by someone who had nothing to do with her at all.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen?
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me. Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life,
What? You kept that one quiet.
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. I did tell her how I felt once, but she said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come.
Oh, Paulo.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by O'Reilly. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Villemont once and for all, face to face. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Villemont.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Furina in a fight before.
Did I not realize she's a human? Oh my god. They actually think she's still like, you know, the Archon. Or at least as powerful. Oh dear. Actually wait though, she does use a sword. Maybe she actually is good at, like, with a sword.
Yeah, but don't you remember why?
Okay, here we go.
The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into indemnitium. Miss Furina said so herself.
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
Hey, lay off, all right? My bluff is hanging from a thread here. I'm sorry. I got carried away. Please help us out, would you?
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Furina.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Villemont, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troupe.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us.
Viamal, avoiding the... Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamal. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The Little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win, so I said the drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration.
Well,
The
that's
merchant
probably what
was
got her killed.
furious, berated us for going back on our
dissolved.
word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was...
And then...
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day. I knew then that things must have reached a boiling point. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything. Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean, you were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her! How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered! She was the love of my life! And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show! How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now?
I mean, in this guy's defense, if he told everyone, he might have ended up getting them all dissolved. Like, you never know. So he might have actually ended up saving them all. Who knows?
I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve. End my life. So I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost!
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life.
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troop. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And that's what you should be celebrating. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You can... What are you laughing at?
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again. If
wonder
she'd
if
seen
Furina's
Paulo and Vilmont
eventually
at each other's
gonna
throats like
become,
that,
like, you
she
know,
would have scolded them exactly
the
like you
director.
did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed.
What you said,
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but
It's all right. Let's say
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray. The end of the story needs to focus back on Aurelie herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that Aurelie left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
you really think that's...
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on Aurelie's true feelings.
no.
well, we'll leave.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold.
So, this is all Aurelie left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found some. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vachey's guilt.
Vachey took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess Aurelie must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what Furina was told by Fuslo.
If you become human, you can reveal your
Isn't that the most important line in the Little Oceanid?
because I am an older sister to them.
Okay, never mind.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence. Wait, I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love. And she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Even in the last moments of her life.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't... Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most mesmerizing performance of your lives.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals, I've learned one important thing. If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role, pouring all your emotion into your performance. And aren't human emotions love, hate, regret, and hope? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina.
Then, let's not delay things any longer.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're
All right. I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a
No,
reservation.
she's putting them in the opera
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage.
Yeah.
By which I, of course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
Epiclese.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that
No, though that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. I know just where to find him. I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, Traveler in Paimon. What might I assist you with today?
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, the story of the Little Oceanid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
Huh? What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes, This is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom, but I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally,
Yeah,
this
this
makes
is
you
what I was
eminently
wondering.
suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again, nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date.
Thanks, Nervalette.
You are very
Yeah, I don't
Good news,
understand.
everyone! It's done. The Opera Epiclese is booked.
Yeah, I don't really get when Furina's gonna get her vision. Because, like, what on earth? It's not like how it was with Wanderer, where he got his vision while he was, you know, in a fight kind of thing. It's like in a moment of desperation almost. But, yeah, there's none of this kind of thing. Because it's just to do with a play. Oh, sorry, performance. Come to think of it, when Wanderer got his vision, it was because he kind of came to peace with himself from how he used to be in the past, right? Or his past self, I guess you could say. In a way, it's probably how it's going to be with Furina then. Interesting.
Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special performance. We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity, but we now have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, now, let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamma and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's...
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation?
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far.
It's amazing. Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up.
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Cursed Cleo.
It just
She
suddenly-
stole the
okay.
waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage.
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time. If only...
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage!
Oh, maybe she's suddenly gonna
Why?
swap.
Why does it have to be now?
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now. Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds?
They've been getting less and less effective over time.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And
I'm sorry. I've let everyone down.
you...
Miss Furina, I'd like to make a request of you.
Yeah, here we go.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know, Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it. Why?
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale.
Okay, yeah.
From the sublime to the ridiculous.
Thank you, Miss Furina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep. No one likes regrets. Myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show is dedicated to the life and legacy of our director. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Is she here yet?
Let's get here!
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Oh, singing in French.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Did she get a vision just from that? That was a bit different to how Wanderer got it.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Furina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere?
Yeah, she has a vision
Gotta
now.
say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people recognize
Wait, how many
me.
people look like
It's
her?
too bad that
Honestly.
I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice. Still,
How are they
I have
mistake?
to admit that,
How are they thinking? Oh,
despite
is that
everything,
maybe her?
it felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, so it was Furina after all. She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down, don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
Yes, I know the rule, but it should still be applied on a case-by-case basis. I wasn't ready for this yet.
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack. Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
That. I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it? I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Oh, let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
How did the performance go? Was it a success? Did the audience like it?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina was on the stage. You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird first thing tomorrow morning.
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end. I guess I was wrong to try and tough it out to begin with.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, everyone's work deserves recognition. Even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's
Well, I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expected.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we?
Oh, don't you start.
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about each other.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the The reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little Oceanid to the bigger theater troupes out there. That would do wonders for your financial situation.
No, we...
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but I don't know if my health will allow me to.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go, until I finally acquiesce. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to hide the truth. But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people and how they touch the lives of others around them. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined on the page, retold on the stage, and remembered long into the future. I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
That's it.
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god, I could only ever dream of receiving this kind of power. And now that the gods have given me their blessing, it actually feels more like I'm finally able to take my fate in my own hands.
Right, if I'm going to be honest, it seemed a bit too sudden. Like, you know, the way she got the vision. Regardless, that quest was a very good one, as it usually is. Compared to the Archon quest yesterday, it of course doesn't seem like much because it's just a story quest. But it's still definitely better than some of the other ones I've had. I still prefer Nervilette's one, and more recent ones like that. However, it's still a good one. And, yeah. It's nice to see that Furina kind of came to terms with her past and everything.